Welcome. In this video, we're going to learn how to add new IP cameras to our Watcher XL Plus system. At this point, you should have your PoE switch connected to the Ethernet 2 port in the back of the DVR, and the cameras connected to that PoE switch. The software for this DVR will help you find those cameras as long as they're connected through the switch and getting power. So we'll have to use our device management icon. So at the bottom of our screen, the camera with the green plus sign is device management. We're going to go ahead and select that. When we click on it, it brings up a pop-up window that would have any cameras that are connected to the system or have been added. If they're connected or disconnected, as long as they've been added, they'll appear here. So it'll give us our connection status, a name, IP address, etc. So since none have been added to the system yet, it is blank. So we're going to go ahead and do that right now. The bottom of the screen says IPC search. When we select this button, it gives us a list of cameras. First thing we need to do is make sure we have the correct adapter IP address. It automatically defaults to adapter 1, and that is our regular network. We need to make sure that that is on our camera network. So on this example, it's set to 192.168.4.15. The default for this is 192.168.4.100. Please leave them on 400 or 4.100. That's perfectly fine, unless you're using that same network scheme somewhere else and you need to change it. The important thing is, whichever one you decide to use, that you have the camera set to the same network scheme. So I'm going to update our device list. The cameras we'll be using today are these second two, the 4.38 and 4.12. When we send cameras out from Watcher, the numbers are kind of random. They're anywhere from 192.168.4.1 to .99. So we do recommend that you change those numbers as you add them in. Then you'll know that you A, have added them, and B, it'll also make sure that you don't have any duplicate addresses. So if you have an IP conflict, that will certainly cause issues when you go to view your cameras, and recordings also will have issues. So I'm just going to select our first camera here. All we need to do is go ahead and change the address. So we're going to change this to 101. You can start where you prefer, but obviously I would go above that 99. And if your adapter address is 4.100, you can start your first camera with 101, go to the next one 102, 103, and so on. So after you change your adapter address to the address you want for that camera, we need to change the password. And the default password for the camera is watch123 with a capital W. So capital W, ATCH 123 is your password. And then we're going to go ahead and modify that device. When we modify our device information, it does no longer appear on the list. We have to update our device list, and it will reappear. And here's our 101. That's our new address for this camera. It has not been added yet. It just renamed it. When we're ready to add it, we go down and change that password again to watch123, and then we select Add Device. When we click on Add Device, it changes to Yes in the Add Device column, and also appears on our right-hand side on the device list. It's got a camera icon along with the address. You'll notice the camera does not view currently. If you'd like to view it, I'm going to exit out of this screen. It takes us back to our main device management screen. It has our name, address, and we'll go ahead and rename that camera in a minute, and that the connect status is success. I'll exit that one, and I can do one or two things. I can click Preview All, and that camera will appear. Or if I close all, it will close all of our window views. I can just simply drag that camera to any of the available windows, and it will appear. Don't worry about how many window views you have. This window view, or what's called our group view, is completely customizable, and it certainly, we can change that to number of cameras, amount, which ones you see. You can even rotate them, and that is in a different video. So for our purposes right now, as long as we can see the camera's been connected, that's all we really care about. Once you've got one camera added, you can go ahead and do the rest. So I'm going to go back to our camera with the green plus sign, open up our device management screen, our search, make sure I change that adapter, update my list. And the next one I'm going to grab is this 4.38. And this one I'm going to make simply 102 to keep going with my consecutive numbers. Login password, modify. You can't add from there. If you try to add it, it will not work. It won't change it. So you have to modify it first. And then I update it. Here's that device name. Again, it says it's changed the address, not added yet. Go ahead, update that password, add device, says yes, and it appears on this list. If for some reason you decide to add it and you don't type the password correctly, or the address scheme is not correct, it will show disconnected in this connect status. It will show up on this device list, but it will have a big red X on it, and you will not be able to connect to that camera. If you make a mistake, it says disconnected, and you need to do it over again, simply select the camera, use delete, takes it off the list. You can go back to the IPC search, find the camera, change the IP scheme, re-put in your password, add it, and you can add it back in. That's one of two reasons why it would connect. If it doesn't connect otherwise, maybe it had it in there at one point. If it has a red X later on, it's possible that your cable ends could be loose or not crimped properly. That's usually the #1 culprit of cameras not connecting. We highly, highly recommend taking the cameras out of the box and adding them to the switch with a short patch cable. Just as I've done here, I can hit preview all, and as you can see, this is sitting on desks right now. They've added into the system. Now, if I were to unplug the cameras, take them, go mount them somewhere else, and plug them back in, it's going to keep that same address, and they'll appear in the same order that they've been unplugged. So if I unplug 101, 102 might still be in, 102 will still show up here. I'll have an X here until I replug it in. All I need to do is plug that network cable back in to the PoE switch, and that camera will reappear without needing to be re-added. Once it's been added, it will appear as long as it's got a good connection from that cable. So, like I said, we highly recommend going in, renaming the cameras, adding them with a patch cable first, and then going and mounting them. If you mount them and it doesn't come up or doesn't connect for some reason, and you didn't do it prior to mounting them, you're not going to know if your cable is bad or possibly a bad camera. But it does happen on occasion. This way, if you've done it prior to mounting them, you know that the camera works and it's been named. Then when you get it up there, you'll know exactly what the problem is. So once you got your cameras added, you're going to want to go ahead and rename them, and that's a pretty important thing to do. If you've got something that happens, say, in aisle 6, but your cameras are all by IP address, and you're, which IP address is number 6? It's not going to show up. You're going to have to guess and maybe make a little list. So we recommend renaming them. Makes it easier. Rename them. We do the same place that we went to add them. We use the device management list, camera with the green plus sign. Select the camera you want by simply clicking on it to highlight it. And at the bottom, it says Modify Device. So go ahead and click on Modify Device. Change this device name. So I'm just going to call this Office. And save. And it changes the device name, but it doesn't appear anymore in our window. That's okay. It's still looking for the other IP address. When we go back to preview all, it will come right back up. So it's okay. Don't worry about it, being dark. I'm going to select the next camera, modify, and I'll just call this entrance. Okay, I'm going to save it. Comes up, changes it there. I'm going to exit, and they're both still here. And I'm going to click preview all, and they come right back up. So that's what you want to do. And you also see how it's got the name changed in the corner, no longer an address, easier to find, easier to see. And then you'll know when you're looking at your playback which camera is which. Obviously, go ahead and do all of your cameras first, and then go ahead and unplug them and get them mounted. If you're having problems or issues adding cameras or have questions, you go to our website, watcherprotect.com, then select support and then technical support. There's an option to create an online ticket. If you submit that ticket, put your phone number, name, store number, add email address, how you prefer to get contacted, and what the issue is, and that does send it to every one of our techs at Watcher. So Every support tech will get that. The first one available will contact you back as soon as they can. Phone number to call is 847-250-0860, and any of the techs there certainly will help you out also. But getting the cameras added in obviously is the first step to get this set up and renamed. The next video you'll probably want to watch is how to get them set for recording. Setting recording for motion is very important, and making sure that they're recording the right space. So again, if you have any questions, give us a call or visit our website, watchprotect.com.